Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Law of One Spiritual Advice Podcast. My name is Elle, and I return to you after a small hiatus to speak about the Law of One and share with you my opinions and perceptions on it. So today, I would like to speak about unworthiness, about low self-worth, how that manifests in your experience. What does it do to you? Because actually, low self-worth blocks the indigo ray, the third eye chakra, and we're going to talk about what that means and how that kind of plays out. So I suppose what I want to do with this podcast is I want to make a connection between low self-worth and how that colors your world and perceptions. If you are distorted and unbalanced in that area, i.e. you have unworthiness in your mind about yourself, you'll tend to project and be a victim rather than be, strong, powerful, peaceful entity, who is curious to learn and grow. So you kind of have that poor me victim mentality. You have a disconnection from the harmony of the universe, from the perfection of every moment, and it will lead to being non-grateful and also no joy in your life. So let's get into this. So the quote that I have chosen for you today is going to be from session 12.31 from the Law of One, the raw material, and you can get links to that at theoneinfinitecreator.com. That's my website, and I have links to the LL Research group who gives us all of this for free. Thank you. Okay, so let's begin. This is from Raw 1231. And I am going to read two parts of this quote, and the unworthiness is covered at the end. So, beginning, Ra says, "We will use this instrument as example. The portions of its ailment, as you call this distortion complex, that can be perfected in balance are due primarily to a blockage of the indigo ray or pineal energy center. This receives the intelligent energy from all sources lawful within the one creation. That is lawful in this third density distortion or illusion. If there is no blockage, these energies pour or stream down into the mind-body-spirit complex, perfecting moment by moment the individual's body complex." And they go on to say, "This distortion is primarily due to the blockage of the indigo ray. As we have said before, the misapprehension distortion of the instrument responsible for this blockage is the basic orientation towards a belief in unworthiness. The unworthiness distortion blocks the free flow of intelligent energy." End of quote. Okay, so there was a couple of things that were talked about in that. Specifically, they speak about intelligent energy, and how when you are feeling of infinite worth instead of unworthiness, you would be opening yourself up to the free flow of intelligent energy, which they mention perfects moment by moment the individual's body complex. So what do I see that as? Well, I mean, basically you have your 7 chakras, and if you have your base chakras balanced and activated, the bottom 3, then hopefully you have enough energy to make it into the heart of unconditional love, and that there, the middle chakra, the heart chakra of universal love, unconditional love, that is the springboard to the higher centers of the blue chakra, throat chakra, of free communication of your, what is in your heart, of the preceding one. And then from the throat chakra coming up into the indigo ray, into the third eye chakra, that is, well, it's hard to explain that one because it's sort of doesn't really have many words to describe it, since it's sort of like silence, mystery. That's where you connect with spirit, where if you do open this one, basically you open yourself up to the downward pouring energy from the creator, the intelligent infinity energy of the creator, whereas you have the upward spiraling energy, which is coming up through the bottom chakras, up, but then once you meet the indigo chakra, then you have this downward pouring energy as well. It's like 2 tornadoes kind of entering your body of energy. And sure, the bottom one is infinite too, in that it's the creator's base energy. It's sort of hard to explain the red ray energy that comes up from the bottom, but the stuff that comes from the top is, in my understanding, intelligent infinity. It's energy that is intelligent. It is energy that has the intelligence of the creator within it, and therefore operates in perfection and perfects your body and your experience and your moment, moment to moment, that, to what degree that you are open and balanced and activated in that region. So, of course, nobody here is perfect. That is true. And I would suggest also that, you may have times in your life where you are quite comfortable and activated in all your chakras, and you're, grateful and in joy and gratitude and free flowing and healthy, and you're sitting in the indigo ray and meditating on and daily seeking as you will. But of course, we all fall out of that. You have to be consistent with your seeking, but we're all going to fall out of it. So what does that mean when we do fall out of it? Well, how does unworthiness manifest in our lives? I myself have obviously dealt with unworthiness in my growing up now. I have just turned big bad 33 years old, and so I've had some time to deal with unworthiness, and for kind of like your early years and in your 20s, as you try to learn who you are in this life and what is your worth and where does that sit with you. Well, I've learned a lot of things in those areas, but I also hang out with a lot of people who maybe, I kind of see that they aren't doing as well in the self-worth area. They have a low sense of self-worth, and I try to help those people to the best I can to see that they are perfect and loved and beautiful and perfectly imperfect. But there's only so much you can say to someone. They will have to experience it themselves to believe it. But, in my life, and as I'm trying to assist this other person to see that they are infinitely loved and worthy, and trying to ease their anxiety about life, I get a lot of reflections about this, because I can't always just say something exactly to somebody, because it's up to them to learn a lot of this for themselves. But I'd obviously drop hints as to where I think they could do better. So here's something I wrote down about this person that I'm speaking about. You are agreeable and you want to do well for others, but you ask yourself why you have trouble wanting to actually serve people. Why are you more frustrated with others rather than accepting? I would suggest it's because you judge yourself harshly and therefore can't help but to hate yourself in others when you see them act in negative ways, like you do, or even like you used to do. So what I'm getting at in this little section here that I wrote is that you are what you hate. People love hearing that one. You are what you hate. So what does that mean? Well, if you're accepting of everything and you are in balance with what is, it is my understanding that you would see everything as love. It doesn't mean everything is necessarily perfect, but it is perfectly imperfect. Everything is a distortion of love. So when you look in the outside world, if you're not seeing perfection and instead you're seeing all these negative things in life and negative things in others, you may want to reflect on yourself that are, can you accept those other people's paths to struggle? I think what it is sometimes we see other people struggling and we want to sort of hold their hand and say, hey, get your act together. This is how you do it. Come on. And when they don't, right, they don't take your advice, then you get frustrated and well, even better, you could just say, you wouldn't judge other people so harshly if you weren't more gracious and kind to yourself in your inner voice. That's something that I've had to learn, is to clean up my inner voice with myself. If you have like a parent or somebody that you grew up with, they're very judging and always telling you this and that, you've probably adopted that voice in your head, in your mind, and you probably very much scold yourself on the regular as to, oh, you dummy, oh, you should do this, oh, I can't believe you didn't do that, like, why didn't you do that, why didn't you think about this, and when you have those thoughts about yourself, then when you see the outside world behaving in a similar manner, you are projecting onto them, you're seeing truth. They are doing frustrating things, but what does it matter to you? What does it matter that you have to fix them and fix this situation and make everything perfect? I would think that your attempt to control them is really more a projection of your inability to accept that version of yourself in which It's easier to blame other people for acting out than it is to accept that you act that way sometimes, or even maybe you don't act that way anymore, but you used to act that way. And there you go. You weren't perfect. You used to act that way. What did you do to get to this point? Well, what you did isn't always what is perfect for other people to do either. So, a lot of patience is requested of the self. So obviously, patience for yourself, grace for yourself, kindness to yourself, forgiveness to yourself is going to make forgiveness for others, just being gracious with them, letting them make their mistakes and do silly things in their own path. And you can just look at them and go, a brief smile, a little small laugh inside, obviously not at them, but just sort of at the experience of, sometimes people need to project and live in a certain way so that they can learn their lessons, but you can have faith that the Creator, all paths lead to the one. The Creator is never not without anyone, so all is well. We will all get there in time. Some just are a little faster than others, and there's no problem with that at all. So you have patience, grace for yourself, maybe even an understanding of free will, that only you have the free will to sort of make changes for yourself. Everybody else needs to use their own free will to make their own changes. And that even goes as far as, like they say, perfecting the body and the health of the body. They talk about in this book crystal healing, and you can have the most wonderful shaman healer or whatever that was really great with a crystal, and they can offer you perfect healing. And if you don't have the free will to accept the healing, no healing will take place. Or at the very least, a temporary healing will take place, and the distortion will return shortly after, because you hadn't really used your free will to accept the situation as it is, and so you're not ready to move on from that catalyst, and so the catalyst must remain with you until you, have accepted and moved on from it. Okay, so remember I talked about trying to talk up the other person, be like, yo, you have infinite self-worth. So here I have another thing written down. So low self-worth also equals you being unconfident about yourself, which means you are anxious, right? When you don't feel comfortable in the moment and you're thinking about what's the best way to do this, what's the best way to do that, I would suggest that overthinking, that overactive mind, is a projection of your low self-worth. If you knew that, no matter where you look and what you do, what gives you your honest worth in this lifetime is, in my opinion, the quality of your love, the quality of your heart. I believe Quo has said somewhere else in other channelings, you can do everything, this isn't word for word, but, whatever you do in the day, but have you loved? Did you do anything today with love in your heart? Honestly, that's the matter. That's the quality of your being. That is really where your worth lies. And maybe even, you're having a bad day and you're sucking at love. I still want you to know that you are infinitely worthy. The Creator will never forget you. You are the Creator. You're an infinite portion of this one creation, and we cannot go on without you, my friend. You are necessary. Without you, the equation would not equal one. So it's not, oneness isn't about this minus this. It's about you. It's about everyone. It's about everything. So I want you to know that I have written down here, you are infinitely worthy. You are a unique portion of the creation. You can make mistakes. You will do better in the future, but all is well. You are loved. Act like it. Give yourself patience, grace, and you will laugh and respond in love when others project onto you or behave in less than helpful ways. So just to add on some more quotes to this, to maybe elaborate and maybe inspire me to speak on anything I missed, I have another quote here from session 15.12, so 15.12. Ross states, they're just going up the chakras, explaining the chakra. So they're going to explain the indigo chakra, the third eye chakra, the one that I'm talking about, which has to do with worthiness, infinite worth, and unworthiness, right? So this one goes, Ross says, the next center is the pineal or indigo ray center. Those blocked in this center may experience a lessening of the influx of intelligent energy due to manifestations which appear as unworthiness. This is that of which you spoke. As you can see, this is but one of the many distortions due to the several points of energy influx into the mind-body-spirit complex. They're just talking about the many different chakras. Continuing on, the indigo ray balancing is quite central to the type of work which revolves around the spirit complex, which has its influx then into the transformation or transmutation of third density to fourth density, it being the energy center receiving the least distorted outpourings of love light from intelligent energy, and having also the potential for the key to the gateway to intelligent infinity. So there's a lot of stuff said and implied in what I just read there. The one thing that I like to take from it is the important part of it having the least distorted outpourings of love light from intelligent energy. It's almost like the further you go up your chakras, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, right? Indigo is your third eye. The further you go up the ladder, the more undistorted you become, the more undistorted the energy is. Like, yes, the energy is distorted as it comes down or, comes through the chakras, but you have the energy coming up, and then you have, once you've reached the indigo, you have the energy then coming back down. And as it comes down, it then perfects all the, kind of balances the energy of the lower. So there is that, and I just feel like when you're blocked off from that energy and you're feeling low self-worth, that feels like disconnection from the universe. You feel alone, you feel lost, you don't know what to do, you're anxious about everything. You're anxious about the future, about the past, about what people are thinking about you. You're not being grateful, right? You're just definitely probably in some kind of scarcity mindset instead of grateful and abundance, and knowing that, the Creator will have your back and thy will be done, and today give us this bread, like all is well, you guys. And when you're also disconnected from that, I don't know where it says in the material here, but I know that they've mentioned somewhere that a byproduct of seeking and the indigo ray and the heart is joy. So if you're blocked in that and you're, not experiencing joy, well, there's a sort of a signpost for you as well that you may need some work. I guess I just spoke about all this and I didn't really say what you could do to do better, which is obviously just to love yourself is the easy way. And that's may sound easy, but it is no small task. I believe Ross says somewhere else in here, to begin to balance and to know the self, you may only, I think they say, and we stress, you may only begin to understand and know the self and seek. And that's okay, right? We're all a wonderful work in progress, and all is well, and we will all have our own pace and time and differences because we are infinitely unique. But what is important is that in your infinite uniqueness, you realize that you are also infinitely worthy. The creation is, my understanding was created so that the Creator may know itself. So your thoughts and your emotions and the way you act and just literally everything about you, your very being, is the reason for this whole creation to exist. The unique way in which you seek and the way you feel and the way you are is a beautiful gift to the Creator, and nobody else could offer it to the Creator but you. So thank you for being you. I love you. The Creator loves you. These are the only things that I really know. So thank you guys. If you appreciated this podcast, you can maybe just help me out. Give me a like, a share, subscribe to the channel, leave a little comment, tell me what you thought about it. Or if you have any ideas for your future things that you'd like me to talk about, I'll see if I can find a quote and we can muse on it together. Other than that, theoneinfinitecreator.com. I have links to all of this material for free, and I have a little support section that if you would like to support me, I would really appreciate it. Got a Patreon, one-time PayPal. Always goes a long way, and I really appreciate the support as I attempt to freely give of myself to you. Wouldn't want to ask anyone to pay, and so I'm obviously very grateful that for those that do help out, because it gives me the time to do this. And I know I took a bit of a hiatus there. I do plan on coming back to doing weekly podcasts. I just had like a roommate moving in, and then I had a small vacation, and birthdays and all sorts of stuff going on in my life, and it gets very busy. So I'm sure you know that with seeking, it's very easy to fall off the path. And that doesn't mean that I did fall off the path. I was obviously still seeking in my heart in my daily life, but it does take a lot of effort to do a daily post, Instagram, and even just to do a weekly or bi-weekly podcast like this. So I do really appreciate it, and thank you guys for listening. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead, and we will hopefully talk again very soon. Okay, take care.